Hey guys, welcome back to SunshinehazeCo. I am AUJHA. I just saw that my phone has 10% battery left, so I'm gonna try and get through this and get everything to y'all before my phone dies. So, wanted to come in here and give you guys a little bit of information or insight on this Virgo full moon that we just had. It was in the middle of the night, and I don't have it written down, but I believe it was around 2 or 3 in the morning. If I am remembering correctly, I could be off with that depending on where you live. My hair is dry. I'm washing my hair tonight, doing my nails tonight, you guys, and looking in the screen like, ooh, girl, you gotta get it together, get your life right. But the full moon was in the middle of the night, and I'll talk more a little bit about rituals a little bit later on in the video, but we are still working very closely, or very much so, with this Virgo lunar full moon energy for the next couple of weeks, okay? So let's get into it. What's going on? We have the mutable winter moon, mutable earth moon, which is Virgo. Mutable energy tends to really wrap and bring things through to completion so that you can step into the next chapter. So we've got this Virgo, this diligent Virgo energy for this full moon that we are having. When we have a full moon, speaking to what's happening astrologically, that means we've got the moon and the sun in opposition, and the moon is in the sky. It appears fully illuminated. And as far as energy goes, that means we're dealing with illumination, gaining clarity. Full moons also symbolize a time of release. It's also a time of cultivation. This is a good time for you to really put in the work. And because we are dealing with the moon, we're talking about emotions, our feelings, things that are associated with the home as well, our comfort spaces. And then we couple that with the Virgo energy too, okay? And also because it is a full moon, anytime we have a new moon or a full moon, we have a little bit of, well, not a little bit of emotions, and also psychic or spiritual abilities tend to be heightened. So intuition is heightened, psychism, telepathy, things of that sort. Just depends on what you've got going on, what your gifts are, okay? All right, so let's get into it. This full moon, as I said, was earlier today, like very, very, very much so earlier today. And it happened in 27 degrees, and I will talk about the numerology a little bit further on in the video, okay? All right. Trying to hit all my notes here, y'all, because I keep thinking about the fact that I have 10% left on my phone, and I gotta clean up. Hello. I gotta clean up today, and I don't know where my chargers are, so bear with me if you gotta pause and skip back, do your thing, okay? As I mentioned earlier, this full moon is in the sign of Virgo. When we're speaking to Virgo energy, that is very, as I mentioned earlier, diligent. Virgo is an earth sign, okay, you guys? So Virgo is analytical, Virgo is organized, Virgo is reliable, dedicated. It's ruled by Mercury, smart. Virgo tends to be reserved as well. On the shadow side, when I speak to the shadow side, I'm speaking to the negative qualities of a trait of a sign. So we've got, for Virgo, they tend to be a little anxious. They're very worrisome. They can be judgmental, and because once again they are earth, they can be stubborn, as it is true for all earth energies, okay? For this Virgo moon, the overall energy that we are really dealing with is really gaining some illumination or some clarity as far as the path goes that we need to be on, how to get back on that track, on path to alignment, for whatever that means for you on an individual level, okay? That could be alignment within your career, alignment within your relationships, alignment within, your finances, whatever the case may be. Take a look at how this moon is passing over your own personal chart, and you can do so by just hopping on Google and typing in transits, and some website will come up, and you can just plug in your information and plug in the dates that you want to look at. And for today's full moon, it is March 18th, okay? Let's get into the aspects here. So there's a few aspects that are bringing a little bit of an energy in for this moon, and going to be lending to what we're going to have going on over the next couple of weeks for us. And typically the full moon energy tends to play out a lot closer to the lunation, but it does tend to be pretty popping during the shadow period as well, which is typically 3 to 4 days prior to the lunar transit and 3 to 4 days after. But when we're talking about these moon and these lunar cycles with the full moon, we're also talking about full moon to the next new moon, which will be in Aries in a couple weeks. Also talking about full moon to the next new moon in the sign, which is the Virgo new moon, which we'll have at the end of the summer. Also talking about full moon to the next full moon that we have next year in Virgo, which will be around this time next year. So all of these cycles for all of these things to play out, but just understand that you tend to see these energies pop up around these times depending on what it is that you're working on when we're having the lunation, okay? The first aspect I want to speak to, which is one of the most important ones, it does have a positive aspect here. We've got a trine to Pluto, okay? And so Pluto, as you guys know, governs transformation, governs things, the cycles in our life is how I speak to Pluto, these deep cycles. The subconscious is really how I speak to Pluto energy. Regenerative, this is a regenerative time. So a lot of us may be in this space, again, speaking to what I was saying about gaining clarity and illumination, because Pluto speaks to what's really like deep down within us. This is a time in which you'll be really gaining some insight into what you really want to do and what you really need to do, because we are talking about Virgo, what work needs to be done, and looking at what aspects of whatever you've been putting your energy into where you really want to prioritize. For example, say you've been doing creative work and you are, what's something that I love? Say you're a visual artist and you have several different mediums, right, in which you do your artwork. So you paint, you do sculptures, you draw, you got charcoal, you throw things at the wall, you got collages, whatever the case may be. This Virgo full moon, you might be gaining some clarity looking at, okay, I have all of these different types of talents within this one field, but where do I need to prioritize, or how can I group all of this together, or where do I need to prioritize so that I can put myself into the position to where I can actually hit all of these things at once further on down the road. Because we are in Pisces season, we're under that Pisces lunar cycle energy, and we are going into Aries in a couple of days, but I, especially me personally, have a lot of lunar energy in my chart. I got Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Venus, South Node in Cancer, all the things. So I move more so with the lunar cycles as opposed to the sun cycles, if that makes sense. So we're getting ready to hit Aries solar season, but for me, I'm still in Pisces, okay? Well, I'm gonna be in Pisces until we hit the Aries new moon, in all honesty. So with that, speaking to that Pisces lunar cycle energy, Pisces is a little hazy. You guys know how it goes with Pisces energy. So underneath this Pisces energy and this haziness of what we want and what we need and where we're going and where we want to end up, Virgo full moon is coming in, shining a light and saying, okay, Pisces bought in all of your passions and all of the things that's pulling on your heartstrings. And now the Virgo full moon says, okay, this is how you incorporate what's pulling at your heartstrings into your routine, and that's how you make this your living. That's how you turn this into your work. This is how you get it all together and create the things or the success that you want to see in these areas, okay? We've also got an opposition to, what is that, Neptune. So Neptune, Pisces, again, the moon is in opposition to the sun, which means that the sun is in Pisces, and Uranus is over there as well. So you've got this opposition to, I'm sorry, not Uranus, you got this opposition to Neptune as well. So as I mentioned, Neptune is you know what, I probably didn't mention this, I was talking about Pisces, but Neptune energy tends to be a little hazy, a little lost in the sauce sometimes. Neptune energy is very, very dreamy. So with this opposition, it does bring in a little bit of a negative aspect. I mean, we could deal with some miscommunications, could be having conversations with people and really just not breaking down what it is that they're saying and just taking it in the completely wrong way. You could say something, it could come out completely not in the way that you intended, whatever the case may be, but just be mindful. When you get into these situations, try to tap into that Virgo full moon energy, that analytical Virgo mercurial energy, and say, okay, what just happened here and how can I fix it? All right. Another aspect that I want to speak to very quickly is the conjunction between Venus and Mars. I got food in the oven and it's making noise, so I feel like, no, it's just making noise because it's hot in there. You know, when you start hearing stuff pop in the kitchen, you gotta go make sure things are good. But we're good. We're good. My food is not anywhere close to done. What was I speaking about? Opposition between Neptune, miscommunication. Actually, I already talked about that. Venus and Mars. So we're actually waning away from this Venus conjunction with Mars, but it's still there. But I want to speak more to the square aspect that both of those planets will be making to Uranus actually the following day, tomorrow. I'm not sure at what time, but this does bring in, and this one is specifically for those of you in romantic relationships or in romantic partnerships, situationships, whatever the case may be. This is a square aspect, so it is kind of challenging, and so this may be bringing things up Because we are dealing with Uranus, this is unexpected shifts, unexpected occurrences, unexpected changes happening in your relationships. But this is a little bit of a negative one. So those of you in relationships, especially if things have been a little rocky or a little thin up until this point, it is very, very possible that your relationships might not be making it past these next couple of days. Y'all know I keep it very real. I'm just going to throw that out there. If you need a love reading, y'all know what to do. I will have all of that linked down in the description box below. Y'all can book one with me, okay? Okay, and that's all I got for the aspects. Speaking a little bit to the numerology, the moon is happening, or it happened in 27 degrees. So you've got the energies of 2 and 7 there. Harmony, balance, peace coming together, truth, divination, understanding. And so all of these things, all of those numbers, all of those energies bring in this truth and this philosophy, touching on our perspective and bringing solutions in for us. This breaks down into 9, which is the number of ascension. So with this Virgo full moon, especially with this being the last full moon of the winter, which means we're wrapping up the zodiac year, all right? This means we're in a space to where you're putting all of the things together, going back over things, that Virgo analytical energy, seeing where you need to put in the dedication, again, speaking to Virgo, seeing where you need to clear things out, speaking to the full moon, so that you can progress forward and level up into the spaces that you want to be in with this moon happening in 27 degrees. I'm going to say 3/18, which is today. March 18th is today. March 18th is a 3-day, numerically speaking, when you break down the date. And 3, when I speak to this, especially in readings and when I'm explaining this just casually to people, 3 is a number of manifestation for me. It is a number of really planting seeds of foundation. So as you wrap things up and clear things out and get yourself back on track, you are preparing for what you're going to be manifesting as we come into the new zodiac year. I'm so sorry because you guys can literally hear all of my food popping in the oven. Also, my stomach is growling because I'm hungry, so I hope y'all can't hear my stomach. I hope you can maybe just hear the food. Okay. All right. That's it for the numerology and all the things. Very quickly, rituals for the Virgo full moon. I mean, I spoke to this a little bit earlier in the video. For those of you guys that do perform your rituals, it is important for you to understand that, yes, it is better to do your ritual as close as you can to when the full moon is actually happening. However, realistically speaking, I don't know anybody who, well, I do know a few people, I might, but I don't know that everybody's going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go write down some intentions, right? So if you know you're not going to get up when the full moon is actually happening, or you're not going to be able to when the full moon is actually happening, you want to at least try to hit your rituals within the shadow of this lunar transit, which is typically 3 to 4 days prior to and 3 to 4 days after the full moon. All right. Just throwing that out there. Also speaking to the full moon, this is not a time of manifesting new things. The full moon is a period of cultivation. It is a point of release as well. So you want to write your intentions, starting with I release, I no longer, I have clarity on, things of that sort, speaking, excuse me, speaking to the energies that I was talking about earlier, speaking to those specific Virgo and aspect energies. What else? I like to do my rituals on like little index cards when I do the full moon, and I write them out in the colors that are associated with the zodiac. So I will be using brown. I don't have any brown index cards, so I'll probably use a yellow one and write in brown, a brown pen, because I got all the colors. And I like to burn my full moon intentions. If you were going to do this inside, outside, just make sure you're doing it safely. Don't light anything on fire aside from your intentions, please. I also like to work with healing crystals or healing stones, a few Virgo stones, halite, petrified wood. What else? I know I wrote some down for you guys. What do I got here? Stones. Halite, petrified wood, moss agate. I actually only wrote down 3, but I will list a few more in the description box when I go in and actually put in the description, okay, guys? What else? Colors, I mentioned brown, but for Virgo, you can also use like pale neutrals like creams, tans, things of that sort, browns, whites. I don't know if you're gonna be writing in white, whatever. Smells, I like to burn incense. Because this is an earth sign, I sometimes won't do a fragrance incense. I might do a smudging incense that smells a little bit more earthy because it's literally just the herbs. So you can do earthy smells, like sandalwood. If you are gonna do fragrance incense, like sandalwood. You could do cedarwood. What's another good earthy one that I have written down here? Or did I write cedarwood and sandalwood? Because that would be funny if that's literally what I wrote down. You know what, y'all? I didn't even write down any. I didn't write anything down, so all I got off the top of my head right now is cedarwood and sandalwood. That's all I got for you right now. But you know, Google is free, as I always say. And yes, that's all I got for you guys. Oh, because this is an Earth moon, it is getting a little bit warmer in some places. If you are able to go outside and just like take a walk in the park or go sit somewhere under a tree, go and connect with the earth element. This is a good time to do so when we have these full moons and new moons in earth signs. Okay, now that is it. That's all I got for you. So just to wrap this up, this Virgo full moon is all about gaining some clarity and some insight and seeing where we need to bring ourselves back into alignment so that we're on the paths and on track to where we have envisioned success for ourselves, right? The people that are going to be the most affected by this moon are people with their moons in 27 degrees in the sign of Virgo. You can also, anybody that has a lot of Virgo in their charts, a lot of earth sign or earth energy in their chart, or earth aspects in their chart. Also, anybody who has their chart ruled by Mercury, which is what is that? Third house individuals and sixth house, because Mercury is Virgo and Gemini. So if you have your chart ruled by that, or if you have a lot of those types of placements in your chart, you definitely will be feeling this moon. Also, if you don't have a lot of those placements, but you have something that I just mentioned, you can look at where that is in your chart and also, again, compare it with the transit and see what the transits and see what aspects they make. And you can get an idea of how this energy is going to be playing out in your lives for yourselves. I don't know why that was so hard to get out. But okay, that's all I got for you guys. Anything I want you to watch, I didn't finish the March tarot forecast, so I'll put up mid-month readings probably over the weekend. I think I'll probably do it over the weekend. That's it. Is that my only plug? Wow, that's crazy. March tarot forecast, guys. Also, if you are just getting into astrology and you want to learn more about your own personal chart, I actually offer 2 different versions. I have a big 3 natal chart report that you can get through my Etsy shop. I also have an extended natal chart report which goes over all of your planet placements, all of your well, not all, but your planet, well, yes, for the planets. Also, what am I thinking, lots, asteroids, special points in your chart, all the things. You guys, I'm hungry, so I'm starting to ramble and my brain is starting to go all over the place. So yes, thanks for tuning in. I will catch y'all next time. Yes, peace. I'm about to go eat some of this food that was popping in the oven.